You have been led to believe that money is the ultimate prize, but money is just the shadow of something far more powerful. In the world of the 1%, the true currency is not the dollar. It is proximity. I'm George Stelling, and through the prosperity prism, I see that the ghost class is trapped because they hunt alone. They believe in the self-made man myth, a fairy tale designed to keep you working in a vacuum where no one can hear you scream. The elite do not move as individuals. They move as a pack, a coordinated network of high-value nodes that share data and favors. While you are scrolling through job boards and public listings, the real deals are being signed in invisible boardrooms. These are the dinners, the cigar lounges, and the private chats where the gatekeepers decide who gets the next opportunity. If you aren't in the room, you aren't even a part of the conversation. You are just the one who pays for the outcome. Access is the master key that opens the vault, and your current circle is the reason you are still standing outside the gate. The ghost class surrounds themselves with people who validate their excuses and mirror their mediocrity. The 1% surround themselves with people who challenge their assumptions and expand their reach. Proximity is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You cannot learn the secret language of the elite if you are only talking to people who speak the language of the struggle. Your network is not just about who you know, it is about who knows what you are capable of. Every door you have found locked in your life has a person on the other side holding the key. Your job is not to break the door down. Your job is to become the kind of person that the key holder wants to let in. The hunt is no longer about the prey. It is about the hunting party you assemble around you. Stop trying to be the smartest person in the room and start finding rooms where you are the least informed. The vault is open, but today we aren't talking about how to count the gold. We are talking about how to get the invite. Access is power, and the invisible boardrooms are waiting for those who understand the rules of the ghost class is trapped in an echo chamber of limited thinking, and they don't even realize they are the ones holding the walls up. You spend your time with people who have the same bank account balance, the same fears, and the same narrow view of the world. When you have a big idea, they tell you why it won't work because their own small thinking cannot handle your ambition. They drag you back down to the mean because your success is a mirror that shows them their own failure. This is the crab in a bucket syndrome, and it is the primary social mechanism of the matrix. The 1% do not have friends in the traditional sense. They have allies and strategic partners. An ally is someone whose success increases your own, creating a positive feedback loop of growth and leverage. The ghost class values loyalty to the past, staying friends with people just because they went to the same school 20 years ago. The ownership class values alignment with the future, seeking out people who are going exactly where they want to go. If you are the most successful person in your circle is a cage, not a support system. You must have the ruthless discipline to audit your environment and prune the branches that are no longer bearing fruit. It sounds cold, but the prosperity prism demands that you protect your mental territory at all costs. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and currently, that average is keeping you broke. The invisible boardrooms are not hidden behind secret doors. They are hidden behind social barriers you haven't climbed yet. The elite talk about ideas, trends, and leverage. The ghost class talks about people, events, and complaints. Change the conversation, and you will eventually change the room. The echo chamber is a comfort zone that leads to a graveyard of what-ifs. Break the cycle by intentionally placing yourself in environments where you feel uncomfortable and outclassed. That discomfort is the feeling of your network capacity expanding to hold more wealth. The first step to the vault is realizing that you can't get there using the map your current friends gave you. The 1% do not network in the way the ghost class understands it. They do not hand out business cards and ask for favors. They operate on the law of strategic reciprocity, a deep psychological mechanism of value-first interaction. A predator never enters a room asking, "What can I get?" They enter a room asking, "What can I solve?" If you can solve a problem for a gatekeeper, you become a trusted node in their network. Once you provide value without an immediate ask, you create a social debt that the elite are honors-bound to repay. This is how the invisible boardrooms function. They are marketplaces of high-value favors traded like currency. The ghost class is transactional. They want a quid pro quo for every small effort they make. The 1% are relationship investors. They plant seeds of value today, knowing the harvest will be 10 times larger next year. You must identify the pains of the people you want to know and find a way to alleviate them. Maybe it's a piece of data, a connection to a service, or a unique skill you possess. When you solve a problem for a king, the king makes you a knight. This is the only way to bypass the gatekeepers who guard the high-level opportunities. They are tired of people asking them for money. They are hungry for people who can help them keep or grow it. Reciprocity is the glue that holds the elite together while the ghost class falls apart through envy. The prosperity prism shows that your net worth is a lagging indicator of the value you have provided to your network. Stop looking for a handout and start looking for a handshake based on mutual profit. The vault is not guarded by locks. It is guarded by a social filter that only lets the useful pass through. If you aren't being invited to the deals, it's because you haven't made yourself indispensable to the people making them. Master the art of the no-string favor, and you will find that the strings of power are eventually handed to you. Every high-level boardroom has a gatekeeper, someone whose job is to filter out the noise and protect the principal's time. If you try to approach a 1% predator like a fan or a beggar, the gatekeeper will delete you before you even speak. To access the invisible boardrooms, you must follow the gatekeeper protocol. You must look, speak, and act like a peer, even before you have the bank account to prove it. The gatekeeper is looking for subtle cues of competence and high-status behavior. Don't ask for a minute of their time. Time is the only thing a billionaire cannot buy more of. Instead, offer a high-yield insight that they cannot afford to ignore. You must be outcome-oriented, not permission-oriented. The ghost class waits for an invitation. The ownership class creates a compelling reason for one to be sent. Learn the chain of command in the network you are trying to enter. Sometimes the best way to get to the CEO is to provide immense value to the chief of staff. In the prosperity prism, the side door is often more effective than the front door. The gatekeeper is not your enemy. They are the validator of your worth. If you can convince the gatekeeper that you are a producer, they will open the door for you. Never forget that the 1% are always looking for fresh talent, new energy, and reliable partners. They are lonely at the top because most people are too intimidated or too greedy to talk to them like human beings. If you can remain composed and valuable in their presence, you become a rare asset. The protocol is simple. Respect the time, provide the value, and match the frequency. The vault is just one intro away, provided you don't look like a ghost when the door opens. The most powerful tool in the network effect is the mastermind, a concept of collective intelligence. When two or more high-value minds coordinate toward a single objective, they create a third mind that is more powerful than the sum of its parts. The 1% do not rely on their own brain alone. They tap into the processor power of their entire network. If a predator encounters a problem he cannot solve, he doesn't struggle for months like the Ghost class does. He makes 3 phone calls to his brain trust, and the solution is delivered in 3 minutes. This is informational leverage, and it is how the elite moves so much faster than the rest of the world. You are currently data poor because you are trying to figure out everything by yourself. The mastermind allows you to download decades of experience from people who have already walked the path. You must build your own advisory board, a group of people with different skills but the same hunger for dominance. One person knows the legal side, one knows the capital markets, one knows the technical implementation. Together, you are an unstoppable force that can tackle deals that would crush an individual. The invisible boardrooms are essentially giant permanent masterminds. The Ghost class views competition as a zero-sum game where they must win and you must lose. The 1% view cooperation as a force multiplier where they can win bigger by working together. Find your high-frequency circle and start sharing the alpha, the secret information that the public hasn't seen yet. The vault is too heavy for one man to carry, but it is light when a team is lifting it. Your growth is limited by the intellectual capacity of your current network. Expand the network, and you automatically expand your reality horizon. The mastermind is the ultimate shortcut in the prosperity prism. In the high-stakes world of the elite, social capital is often more valuable than liquid cash. Social capital is the credit score of your reputation. It is the sum of all the favors you have done and the trust you have built. The 1% use this capital to bypass regulations, secure funding, and get first look at the best assets. You can have millions in the bank, but if your social capital is 0, you will still be locked out of the best rooms. The Ghost class spends their social capital as soon as they get it, asking for things constantly and burning bridges. The ownership class accumulates social capital by being the most helpful and reliable person in the network. Think of every handshake as a deposit into your reputation bank. When you introduce 2 people who go on to do $1 million deal, you have earned a massive referral credit. You don't even need to be in the deal to profit from it later. The people you helped will feel a deep psychological compulsion to bring you into their next hunt. This is the web of obligation that runs the world behind the scenes. The prosperity prism shows that the richest people are often those who are owed the most by others. If you want to enter the invisible boardrooms, you must start making deposits today. Help a rising star, connect a veteran to a new tool, or share a piece of high-level intelligence. Stop being a user and start being a broker of value. The more people who are indebted to you, the more secure your fortress becomes. The Matrix wants you to think that independence is the goal, but interdependence is the true power. The vault door doesn't have a keypad. It has a vouching system. If 3 respected members of the network vouch for you, the door opens automatically. Build your social capital until your name alone is enough to close the deal. One of the most powerful skills in the network effect is the ability to perform a double opt-in introduction. The ghost class spams their connections, throwing people together without permission and annoying everyone involved. The 1% are surgical with their introductions, protecting the time and privacy of their network. When you facilitate a high-value intro, you are acting as a curator of proximity. You are telling both parties that the other person is worth their limited attention. This is how you build network density, the number of high-value connections within your circle. Every time an intro you made turns into a success, your status as a power broker increases. You become the nexus point, the person everyone comes to when they need something done. Being the hub is the most profitable position in the prosperity prism. You don't have to do the work. You just have to know the man who does the work. This gives you a vantage point over the entire market that the specialized workers will never have. You see the trends before they happen because you are talking to the people making them happen. The invisible boardrooms are filled with connectors who keep the machinery of wealth running smoothly. To become a connector, you must first become a listener, identifying what everyone is missing. If person A has the capital and person B has the proprietary tech, you are the glue that makes the empire possible. The glue usually takes a carry or a percentage of the deal just for existing. That is the ultimate passive income, getting paid for the strength of your Rolodex. The vault is filled with the results of handshakes that you could have facilitated if you were in the room. Start curating your network like a high-end gallery instead of a junkyard. You don't need to actually know someone to benefit from their network effect. This is the Shadow Advisory Board. The 1% study the moves of the top players as if they were sitting in the room with them. They analyze the deal structures of the titans, the language of the winners, and the timing of the predators. Through the prosperity prism, we treat public data as private intelligence. If a billionaire is buying land in a specific jurisdiction, his network has already done the research for you. You are piggybacking on a multi-million-dollar due diligence process for free. The ghost class follows the news. The 1% follows the smart money. Your shadow board consists of the thinkers and executors who are 10 levels above you. Read their annual reports, watch their unedited interviews, and study their asset allocation. By modeling their behavior, you prepare your psychology for the moment you actually meet them. When you eventually enter the invisible boardroom, you won't be a tourist, you will be a peer. You will speak the language fluently because you've been practicing in the shadows. This psychological preparation is what prevents you from fumbling when the big opportunity arrives. The Matrix wants you to think that these people are untouchable or genius. In reality, they are just optimized and connected. By adopting their operating system, you begin to see the world through their eyes. The shadow board is your training ground for the big leagues. The vault is not a place you find. It is a place you recognize because you've studied the blueprints. Start building your list of titans and begin the deep study of their network moves. The more you think like the 1%, the more the 1% will start to recognize you as one of their own. The invisible boardrooms are highly sensitive to low-frequency energy, what we call the ghost vibe. If you enter a room of predators and you bring desperation, insecurity, or greed, you will be ejected immediately. The 1% can smell an outsider from a mile away, and they have zero tolerance for energy vampires. Your vibe is the sum of your internal beliefs and your physical composure. You must develop outcome independence, the ability to walk away from any deal or any person. The ghost class is needy. They need the job, they need the loan, they need the validation. The ownership class is self-sustained. They want the deal, but they don't need it to survive. This lack of need is the ultimate social power. It makes people curious about you. It makes them want to chase you. If you are too eager, you look like a scammer or a slave. If you are calm and measured, you look like a king. Protect your vibe by ensuring your base layer of wealth and mindset is solid before you try to network up. Do not try to fake it till you make it. The 1% see right through the mask. Instead, build it till you belong. Focus on your internal fortress so that when you sit at the table, you aren't shaking. The invisible boardrooms are reserved for those who can handle the pressure of the hunt without blinking. The vault is a high-pressure environment. If you aren't diamond-level solid, you will crack. Subscribe to the Code of Silence and Composure. Your silence is often more communicative of power than your words. I'm George Stelling. Today, we've pulled back the curtain on the invisible boardrooms that actually run the world. You now know that your individual strength is a myth designed to keep you small and manageable. The 1% move in coordinated networks, sharing the alpha, the leverage, and the access. The ghost class will continue to hunt alone, wondering why the doors remain locked and the harvesters keep winning. But you are beginning to build your hunting party. You are auditing your circle, providing value first, and accumulating social capital. You are learning the gatekeeper protocol and preparing your vibe for the crossover. The invisible boardrooms are not a myth. They are the control rooms of the global economy. And they are looking for nodes that can add power to the network. Stop being a ghost in the background and start becoming a nexus point in the foreground. The vault is not just filled with gold. It is filled with handshakes that change the world. Subscribe if you are ready to unplug from the echo chamber and join the Council of Predators. The network effect is the wind in the sails of the 1%, and it is time for you to catch the breeze. The crossover is closer than you think, provided you aren't walking toward it alone. The vault is open and the invitation is yours to earn. I'll see you in the room.